The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on a break!
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Wednesday, September 12th, 2018, Season 14, Episode number 38. Welcome to a very special edition of The Break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We got a good show lined up for you guys today. Got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into these Giants. Dave's got a scouting report on the Giants' offense, so we'll talk about some of their playmakers over there. A little bit of a different offense than what the Cowboys have been used to seeing when they face the Giants with the addition of Saquon Barkley, but I'm sure we'll get into all of that. Before we do that, though, a few housekeeping things we need to catch up on. A player signed to the Cowboys yesterday, a guard by the name of Xavier Su'a-Filo, and they also released Kadeem Edwards. Talk to me about Su'a-Filo. Is he a guy that they're bringing in to just play guard? Can he play guard and center? Does he have even more flex than that? What's his purpose here? Is he just kind of a backup body that they're just kind of churning the bottom of their roster?
I think he's definitely better than Kadeem Edwards. Obviously, that's why they did it. He started some games for Houston. I don't know if this is a situation of do they want to get a better guard in here than what they had at left guard. I mean, I don't think that's the case. I don't think they're going to pull the plug on this with Connor Williams at all. But I'm just saying, I think they just want to have a little bit more depth there at the guard position.
It's the same thing in what they had in Parker Anger. Thank God I didn't have to figure out how to pronounce his name. At least not.
We would have done that
year.
all season. Anger, whatever.
He's a second-round pick. Actually, I remember talking about him on the draft show. He started a few years in Houston. I think you would call his career disappointing to this point. But,
really?
Well, a second-round pick, and he's not – I mean, only 3 or 4 years ago, and he's not still with the team that drafted him. So, Not great. Right. But Cowboys have shown that's what they like to do. Jonathan Cooper, ring a bell. Bring in a talented guy. I think he gives you flex. He can play either guard spot. He's better than Kadeem Edwards. Theoretically, he could – push Connor Williams, but that's down the line. Like this is, and that's I said that on Twitter yesterday. This is not a reaction to Connor Williams having some struggles on Sunday. They worked him out last week. This is I love this type of stuff, like the mechanics of how NFL teams use their roster. They needed a guy because Anger was going on IR. They worked him out. They liked him, but they can't ask a guy that they sign on Wednesday to play on Sunday if he hasn't been here. Kadeem was here for a few months. You sign him, you get through the game with that, and then now you can go and get the guy that you wanted.
Yeah. Was Anger a guy? Was Anger the person I'm thinking about that had the position flex where he could play center guard and even did somebody say maybe tackle in a pinch?
Jerry said he could play all 5 spots. I think it was really more guard
center.
Well, guard tackle.
Guard tackle.
He didn't have the center flex. I think Jason Garrett told us that Su'a-Filo could play center in a pinch. Right. In a pinch, you don't probably want him to, and Adam Redmond is still here too. So. Yeah. But he's a guy that gives you depth at 2 positions.
Okay,
maybe a third.
Got it. Let's move on. Let's talk a little bit about injuries to watch this week. Cowboys their injury report is relatively small at this point. They haven't really had any major significant injuries. But tell the fans which players we need to keep an eye on this week with regards to the injury report.
I would challenge that losing Travis Frederick has been kind of major so far. We'll see, but I'm just saying.
Hopefully it's not
not.
You don't know. Hopefully it's not forever. I mean, not for the season.
I know.
But,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But it was significant, more significant than I think we thought it was just by watching the game. I'll take one to watch. I mean, Xavier Woods. Didn't see him do a lot there.
I'm gonna step on a limb. I think it's a sturdy limb, but I don't think Xavier Woods can go this week. That's just my guess. It's Wednesday. I get it, but
what are you basing that on?
Basing that on conversation with Jason Garrett. They don't expect him to play early in the week, and again,
practice.
Practice. Case in point, Randy Gregory's the other guy to watch. Jason Garrett even said today, he's like, well, he's still in the protocol. He's got his knee, but we feel good that by the end of the week, maybe he'll progress. You ask him about Xavier Woods, and it's kind of more like, he's still not quite ready yet. We'll see about that. On top of that, eternal optimist Jerry Jones even said, I don't know if he'll be able to play this week, but he's getting closer to being able to play. So Not a guarantee of anything. I said I was stepping out on a limb, but I don't know that he's going to be ready.
Sounds like those are the two guys that are most important to watch this week. And sounds like maybe one of them is looking good. One you have a little question about.
Randy's, I mean, concussions are always, it's different, you know? I mean, It sounds like if he wasn't in the protocol, I think he could maybe practice right now, but you got to be careful with that stuff. So it's they're just going to have to watch him and see where he's at.
Okay. All right, good. So let's move on. Let's talk about this Giants offense. And before we get to the scouting report, the one thing I want to point out just kind of overall when you look at this team is over the last 6 meetings, that's the last 3 years the Cowboys have played this team, you've seen basically offensively at least, this is not a high-powered offense. Although they got some players that are high-powered, particularly Odell Beckham Jr. When you look at their passing game particularly and then look at their running game, they haven't really put up a lot of yards. They can put up some points. They haven't in a lot of these games put up a ton of points. Do you guys expect that to be different now with the addition of Saquon Barkley?
No. Why a question, why do you think that is? Why do you think
that was not a statement? That was a question I was asking was, do you think that? I'm not making a statement one way or the other.
Why do you think that despite having arguably the best receiver in the league and a top 5 pick at running back.
Oh, I get you.
And an accomplished quarterback, why do you think their offense isn't better?
Maybe because
crappy offensive line.
Yeah. That's what I think.
And it's still the same.
Yeah.
They got Nate Solder.
It's not the same, but it's not better. At least the early returns aren't positive.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that
Well,
that's going to be a factor for them. I think, Cowboys fans, y'all were here for more of it than I was. I got here when the offensive line got good. But you remember watching these Cowboys teams that had Tony Romo and Dez Bryant, and it was a struggle to do stuff a lot because you didn't have guys who could block everything.
I think the jury's still out there. I mean, Jacksonville is probably the best defense in the NFL, and their star receiver had 11 catches. Their star running back is one of the there's only 4 players in the NFL that had a 100-yard game. He was one of them, and so they did their thing against a pretty good, really good defense. So I think they're excited to probably face a team defense that's not as good, and Dallas is definitely not as good as Jacksonville defensively.
Yeah, I think, and that's the part that you got to be a little bit concerned about is they've been able to they've won 3 of the last 6. I think the Cowboys and the Giants have split those, and that's with them not having the kind of running game that you would that certainly that they have now. I mean, I went back and looked at their rushing attack over the last 6 games, and I think their best day was 132 yards. That was back in 2015. They had 132 yards in the game. There were 1, 2, 3 games, half the games they didn't even get over 100 yards, and this is total rushing. This is not one person. This is total rushing as a team. So they haven't traditionally in the last 3 years haven't run the ball particularly well against the Cowboys, and that's a position where you would say they've upgraded a bit, even if the offensive line is bad. A really good running back,
of course, yeah,
a really good running back makes a bad offensive line look pretty good.
Of course, yeah. Since Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs left, they have running the ball. It's been an afterthought. Yeah. It's been nothing.
Darkwa.
Or he had some plays in that 2015 game.
He did. That was the year when they had the 132. He had some plays. So did Rashad.
Okay,
well, last name
since Jennings.
Yeah.
Since
I wanted to disagree with you, Dave, and just for the sake of the argument.
You said it with such disdain in your voice.
Just for the sake of the argument. No, I think, overall, if you look at overall as a team in the whole NFL, I wouldn't say, yes, they're so much better than what they've been, but versus the Cowboys right now, which is the game that we're focused on at this point, I would say they are. One, they have a running back that can run the ball. So do the Cowboys, okay? The O-line, might not be the best or anything, but they can still make some damage. Now they have a quarterback that can get the ball out there a lot quicker than our quarterback, and they have a receiver that can catch the ball even a lot more than what we have. So I'm saying when you start comparing the two teams right now offensively, I think that they can definitely put up a battle and probably score more points than what we think the Cowboys can do at this point.
So you're picking the Giants.
Basically.
The one thing to note, though, is although we know Odell is a really, really great talent, and he's had some big time plays against the Cowboys. Overall, he hasn't been a Cowboy killer when it comes to just his overall average in these 6 games. I mean, you're talking about a guy that has, I think he's averaged 71 yards per game in those 6 games. I mean, he's not really killed the Cowboys other than those big plays, like he had the slant route that he took quite a ways. Was that a touchdown? It may have been a touchdown. And then obviously the play that set his career off against Brandon Carr, which obviously was, that was just a spectacular catch. But he hadn't had a lot of really great games against the Cowboys. He hasn't been the killer of the Cowboys.
Yeah, but I guess where I'm getting at is they have at least 3 good elements working on their favor.
Mm-hmm.
A good running back, a guy that can catch a ball, and then a guy that can throw the ball pretty quickly without having to be, running around and getting pressure. He can make those kinds of decisions a lot faster than, let's say, Dak. So when you look at that versus what the Cowboys have at this point, the Cowboys only really have one, I would say, that can work, which is Zeke. We know he can't run the ball successfully, even if it's little yard by little yard. At the end of the game, it all adds up. So I think when you start looking at those factors and comparing the two, I think right now I'm leaning more towards what the Giants' offense can do at this point.
Dave, go ahead and give us a scouting report on these guys. What did you see as you started watching them?
Well, we sort of touched on a lot of it, but it just this whole conversation that y'all just finished just reaffirms my belief that for the Dallas defense, I think this whole game is going to come down to how well they tackle, which is funny since they didn't tackle very well.
Just wrote that down. They got to tackle well.
I mean, that sounds elementary. Obviously,
yes,
you have to tackle in football. But here's the thing. Okay, let's start with Saquon Barkley. He's a phenomenal talent. Everybody knows that. You saw his draft tape. I assume you saw his run against the Jaguars. If you didn't, you really should, because it's just fun.
Like beautiful.
I mean, it was a broken play. He goes up the middle. He squirts outside, breaks 2 tackles, breaks another tackle, beats another guy to the corner, tiptoes along the sideline for 3 yards, and then he's gone. I think it's
a little bit of everything there.
It's more impressive than any touchdown Zeke has scored, I think, probably.
I have to think about it.
Do that. But the point being, he's got that game-breaking type of talent. He's got insane balance. And we talked about it, all through the draft and leading up to this point. Like, he's got these thick-ass tree trunk thighs. That's what he can do with them. Like, he is a hard guy to bring down. So I think that's scary, but there's a positive to that, because I'm going to read off. All right, Saquon Barkley ran a 68-yard touchdown. I'm going to read off his other runs from the line of scrimmage on Sunday. 0, -3, 10, 5, 4, -4, -1, 1, 8, 0, 3, 2, 3, 1, 5, 3, 68, 4, and 1. That's what he did. He had one run that you might qualify as a chunk play other than the touchdown. And you can't take that away. I hate people who do that. I get it. But look at the trend there. That, to me, says your offensive line and your blocking is bad, because he's getting swarmed within 3 yards of the line of scrimmage damn near every time he touches the ball. And even on the play that he scored, that happened too. He did some superhuman stuff. And that's what I mean when I say you've got to tackle well, because if you do, if you're wrapping up and if 5 guys are flowing on the ball and you're gang tackling and getting hats on him, you can wrap him up. He ran 17 times for 38 yards other than the touchdown. And again, you can't take that away. I get it, but the trend is there that there should be plays to be made because the blocking's not that good. Running backs can do crazy stuff, but if you just tackle well, then I'm not going to say it doesn't scare me, but you can manage with that, because go back and watch the tape. This Giants offensive line is not very good. They added Nate Solder. They drafted Will Hernandez. They have John Halapio, who's a journeyman who is kind of, he was with...
Jalapeno or Halapio?
Halapio. Halapio.
All right.
Who are you?
Yeah. Well, he's a 5-year... He's the typical, journeyman vet who finally caught on with the team.
Kyle Kozar?
Exactly.
Or less than Kyle Kozar.
No, I mean, he's that...
Kyle Kozar was a good offensive lineman.
He's started 7 times with the Giants after never starting in his career prior to that. Whether it's their scheme or they don't have anybody better, whatever. They brought in Patrick Amama from Jacksonville. And then the big one is Eric Flowers is still your starting right tackle. And it sounds like he's going to be this week, even after He had a tripping penalty. He had he had a holding in the end zone that was damn near a safety.
Did you see the Olay play? He's just not a good player. Certainly not for a top 15 draft pick.
D-Law's on the left side.
Exactly. Right? And that's what I was going to say is we'll get to the Giants defense. We'll get to the Giants defense tomorrow, but like they don't have the pass rushers that they've become known for right now. Olivier Vernon's hurt, and they don't have another proven guy. So like he was getting his butt kicked by guys that are not as good as what the Cowboys can run out there on Sunday. So that's really encouraging. And that goes back to my point that Barkley can make some things happen. But if you tackle well and get guys to him, I think you can limit what he's able to do just because this blocking is not very good. The other thing, too, I think it extends to the passing game because you have not just Odell Beckham, but Sterling Shepard. And the thing is, I'll take it back to the blocking. Eli Manning is probably not going to have a ton of time, if I had to guess. And if he does, I don't think he's that guy. You know, I think of Kirk Cousins. I know we like to criticize him, but Kirk Cousins just used to bomb away downfield on this team all the time. And he would hit at least a few of them. Like, I don't think Eli's going to have that kind of time. And when he does, I don't trust him anyway. You watched the game back, Derek, right?
Part of it.
The part
I could get to.
The cleanest pocket he had all day, he had Odell Beckham just screaming down the slot, just 3 yards behind everybody, and just missed him. I mean,
I saw that one.
You can't have an easier touchdown. So he doesn't scare me in the sense of like an Aaron Rodgers who can just sit back there and pick you apart. Where he does scare me, to Amber's point, is that he's going to get the ball out quick, and he's got two receivers in Odell and Sterling Shepard who are just as scary within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage as they are downfield. Because that's what I think Odell Beckham does maybe the best is he just presents himself as a target quickly, and then he's gone. He's fast, and he sheds tackles. So you're talking turning 6-yard slants into 60-yard touchdowns like a couple years ago in New York. Or, you know, running crossing routes. It seems like he runs a crossing route every other snap. So, again, that goes back to my point. Got to tackle well. You got to keep it a 16-yard gain instead of a 58-yard gain. And that's going to be the challenge for this Dallas defense. I feel like on all fronts is limit. They're going to make their plays. You got to limit it when you can. You can't let them break it.
Well, I mean, it's just we've been talking for 5 years why 10 years Eli Manning gets the ball out quick, and he still has been effective at times doing it. And it's like you just said, he's got playmaking, receivers that can get open quickly and then do something with it. And so, I mean, their offense is Eli friendly. It's Dak friendly. And this is not Dak friendly because he doesn't have players that, he can get the ball out quickly. To who? Like, who's open, like right off the bat. So I know that there's the argument that this, the receivers got open some, last week and all that, but they're not special. You have special receivers over here. So, when Eli's career is kind of going down the way it is, you need to surround him with some special players, and I think that's one of the reasons why they're able to do it.
I think he's got 3 special guys, honestly. I mean, obviously Odell. I think Sterling Shepard is a very underrated player. And then there's Evan Ingram, too, who's basically a receiver. I mean, he hinders them in some ways because he's not a good blocker. They have to, they go heavy.
Add it to an offensive line that doesn't block very well.
So, and that, again, that's part of that's going to be a problem for Barkley for the foreseeable future, I would guess. They've got to bring in other tight ends and other offensive linemen. But, I'll go ahead and say it. The Cowboys got kind of lucky that Greg Olsen had to lose that game. It certainly didn't lose. It didn't seem like they had an answer for him during the time that he was there. And Evan Ingram is probably going to be worse because he's 24 and faster and leaner and easier to create separation.
And let's remember, if Xavier Woods doesn't play, now you got 2 box safeties that are now out there playing safety. Can either one of them be able to cover him? There's
no way that they can play another game where the safeties play the whole game and no backups play. Even on special teams. I talked to Kayvon Frazier yesterday, and he was like, I was dead on the plane. I couldn't move. Yeah. So tired. He played every snap on defense and special teams. Same with Jeff Heath.
And it was hot out there. That's the other part to it, too. It was really humid.
Don't understand. I just, for the life of me, do not understand why you sign Ibrahim Campbell, who's been in the league 5 years, and he doesn't play a lot of defense, plays some, but he's got to be a special teams guy to be in the league 5 years. How can you not go in and play on special teams?
I'll play devil's advocate. You're right. He's a veteran. It doesn't make a ton of sense, but he got here Sunday. He got here Monday, really. He had 3 practices to get up to speed. Maybe they just didn't trust him yet.
I'd rather have Rico active than if you're going to have 2 safeties who aren't active.
No, I mean,
who don't play.
Don't play but are active.
Yeah, just sitting out there.
It doesn't make a ton of sense, but I would like to believe that in this week, get him he's a little more acclimated. I don't see how you can sit him this time.
My point, though, about all the stuff that you're saying, the thing that's always been scary about Eli and the Giants is that they're always in the game. You're never going to be that far ahead of them. They can score quickly. We've seen it. We've seen the Cowboys have 2-score leads on the Giants and think that it's over, and it's not, and they win because they come back and score a quick one, get the ball again. They have quick strike ability with those receivers, and especially with the tight end, they can get back in the game quickly. So you got to. It's hard to kind of pull away from them. Of course, with this offense, they won't be pulling away from anybody.
Yeah, the other thing to think about, though, there with that point you're making about the safeties, it could have been a situation where they got into that game and they realized really all we got to do is stop the run. Like, they're not challenging us so much in the passing game.
Not playing a lot of nickel.
You're not in a situation where you're really getting challenged a lot. And let's be honest, if you weren't going to be able to have safeties back there that were going to be able to take down Big Cam, then it doesn't matter if they can cover or not. And so maybe they got into the game and they started seeing how the game was progressing, and they were like, it's more important for us to have really 2 box safeties out there anyway, because they both can tackle, and we feel better about them tackling than maybe those other guys.
True. My point is more on special teams. I'd like to get them some break on special teams and play that way.
I'm encouraged by you mentioned Big Cam. Eli Manning's not that, and he's gonna
opposite.
He's the guy that's gonna slide to get out of a sack or throw the ball away.
He ain't going nowhere.
I mean, I counted it up. I think Will Hernandez is probably going to be a really good player. We all liked him coming out of the draft. Still his second game.
Yeah.
Malik Collins had a sack. We already talked about DeMarcus Lawrence. Nate Solder is the best of them and still didn't look great, albeit to Nick's point, it's maybe the best pass rush in the league.
Yeah.
But this should be a good pass rush too. They looked pretty good.
Good pass rush team.
They looked pretty good against
this
Carolina.
team right now.
It is.
You would say.
So, they gotta play well, and I thought they played pretty well last week, but they gotta play better because you gotta limit that stuff, and that's a great way to do it.
We're gonna take our first break, and really our only break. We kind of went past that other one, but we'll go ahead and take this break. We'll come back, and we want to get some questions. You guys give us a call. The number is 888-855-2297. Again, it is 888-855-2297. We want to hear from you. Give us a call. We'll be right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
I definitely have an Instagram foodie thing, but the low-light camera on my new Samsung Galaxy S9 from AT&T is getting me a whole new world of likes and shares. Baskets of bread by candlelight, colorful fruit plates in full sun. Even a dimly lit Cobb salad was recently hailed as a masterpiece.
Come in now and ask how to get half off the new Samsung Galaxy S9 from AT&T. AT&T, more for your thing. That's our thing. Limited time only. See store for details or att.com/Samsung50. With dual aperture supports f1.5 mode and f2.4 mode. Dual aperture is installed on the rear camera.
Oh, I am craving a Dr. Pepper.
I got some soda.
I asked not for soda. I asked for ice cold, craveable Dr. Pepper. Its flavor is more one of a kind than a four-toed sloth with a thirst for speed. So stop settling for soda and start demanding Dr. Pepper.
I love sloths.
When you crave a Dr. Pepper, nothing else will do. Grab an ice-cold 20-ounce Dr. Pepper today. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
To work this big land, you need equipment with values rooted as deep in Texas soil as you are. Like John Deere compact tractors with a 6-year powertrain warranty and big features that help you work less so you have more time to do what you love. John Deere was first in the Texas fields, and we're proud to be on the field as the official ag and turf equipment of the Dallas Cowboys. Find Texas-sized deals at myjohndeerdealer.com/football. Terms, conditions, exclusions, and warranty limitations apply. See dealer for details.
Back to the break.
Here's the thing. I don't know how else I need to say it. Tommy John underwear is really comfortable. I've been telling you that for like 2 years. I might stop if you go buy some. Probably not though, because that's what we have to do here on the show. But it's just a fantastic product. I wouldn't lie to y'all. Just go to TommyJohn.com/Cowboys. You can get 20% off your order, and you can be part of the Tommy John crew like me and Nick
And later in the
Derek.
week,
I was going to say,
And Am.
how do I
And
get
Am.
left out?
and later in the week, we'll be able to actually show some. Not
Ooh.
not
I don't
actually.
wanna see that.
Not
No,
from
thank you.
I've been working out.
No.
I'm just saying, like,
not
I'm
from
ready.
a
Let's
modeling
go.
standpoint, but actually we'll have some product we can show.
Because he's got an ass.
Yeah.
Dave's like, yeah.
I just love that drop. That drop and the broadest drop. Here we go. Jam it right up your rear. Those are
Stick it right up your rear. Here you go.
Those are my two favorites.
That is the best.
Well, here's another thing, real quick. Aside from feeling good in your underwear, also you
Yeah.
need to take care of that skin. You need to moisturize, and you need to have good hair and soft hair.
How do you
soft
do that?
Underwear. You do it with Jack Black. So get jackblack.com. Use the code Cowboys for a nice little discount there. You would not regret it.
You're right. She's right about that
She is
too.
right about that.
That's the read.
Stuff.
I'm no.
You were your own read. I was like,
Yeah, she did her own thing.
no, which is fine. I'm just like, I hope that wasn't somebody typed that out and say, here's the read.
Oh.
That's good. It was a good improvise.
Moving on.
That was good. I was a compliment because I was just
Derek,
like, I
pull
really
us out of
hope.
this nose
I
dive.
really hope nobody typed that out and said, here's the read.
All right, let's get back into it. We're going to get some questions here. 888-855-2297 is the number. Before we go to our first call, we do have a call already lined up. I wanted to at least give you guys a chance to talk about this. Dave talked a lot about the ability of the Cowboys to tackle, and that being very important in this game particularly. How concerned are you coming off the game that Sean Lee had when it comes to tackling? Because he is kind of how this thing moves when it comes to tackling. That's his primary job, and it wasn't a great game for him in Carolina. You think he bounces back, or are you a little bit concerned about where he is at this point?
Well,
from that
I think
standpoint?
with Sean, with the season starting on Sunday night, I think he'll be able to go out there and, get all those preseason jitters out, and he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, he's definitely going to bounce back, especially given the guy that he is. I mean, I'm sure there was no one more upset than Sean Lee himself. So I'm sure he did everything he could throughout the week to make sure that he's going to be playing better in this upcoming game.
I don't think there's another guy on this team that I believe more when he says something like that than Sean Lee. Because in the locker room afterwards, he was very upfront. And again, it's one of the reasons I respect him so much as a player is good game, bad game. He was there to take the questions, and
Always.
he was like, look, I didn't play well. I didn't play well enough tonight. That'll get corrected. I'll go in this week. I'll get myself ready. I'll be better next week. And I believed him.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about Sean is history says that, yeah, he might have a bad game here or there, but he does correct the ship. And so I personally believe he's going to be ready to go Sunday night.
It's something I get into with fans all the time is like, fans expect these players to just be agonized about it from the moment the game is over until the time the next game kicks off. And like, you're not allowed to have any fun if you didn't play any well. Like, don't go to the Beyonce show. Like, don't smile on Instagram. Like, you know what I'm talking about. Like, and that's ridiculous. Like, players are people too. Just because you had a bad game doesn't mean you can't live your life.
Right.
But Sean Lee is that player. Like Sean Lee won't be happy about anything.
It's not a pleasant week in the Lee household.
It's no. I've actually I interviewed his wife a couple years ago for a story I did when he was nominated for Walter Payton Man of the Year, and she was like, at weeks after losses or like bad games on his part, it's
miserable.
It's a dicey time in the household. Like he takes this stuff seriously.
Yeah.
If you watched All or Nothing, I mean, he's watching tape of bad plays like the day of the exit interviews. Like he's that guy.
Everybody else is going home.
He's got
got work to do.
He is all consumed, and that's like I'm not worried about him. He'll bounce back. I need a way larger sample size of him playing poorly before I'm worried about it.
I'll tell you this about the defense, though. My biggest concern, and if I had to pick one of the two, I think that our defense would beat the Giants' offense. I feel really positive about the defense that the Cowboys are building right now, but where my concern starts is how long is that defense going to be playing out there for? So that's the biggest thing. You keep the defense out there too long, that is just a ingredient for failure.
Although, can I point this out? It'll be very different than last week from the standpoint that there won't be the humidity, there won't be the heat factor. They're playing indoors. That does have some bearing on it, I think. I think last week you started seeing those defensive guys. I mean, I thought it was about second quarter.
Hold on.
But
will it be indoors?
It's going to be indoors.
Are you sure? Because
I will put money on it that it's
I wouldn't.
indoors.
Because NBC starts calling and they want that aerial shot and they have it open. It's happened too many times before.
Okay.
Are we
If
100% sure?
If they do, I will be shocked. And maybe I will be shocked. I'm just saying,
it's been
based upon
sprinkling
the humidity
That
in
might be the
Dallas
reason
right
that-
this time of the year, I don't think it would be a chance that I would open that roof.
I would
my decision.
feel comfortable betting that the roof will be closed. The roof, like they never open the roof anymore.
Okay, but I'm just saying we have seen it so many times. These Sunday night, ESPN wants it, and Sunday. I mean, they pay billions of dollars to get what they want. They open the roof. We've had this game a couple of times now early in the season where it's been really hot.
But is that the network asking for, or is that the internally Jerry wants to see?
No, it's the network asking for it. And it's like, remember the $1 billion that we did in a deal? Like, can we get this
I
shot?
don't think it will happen.
We have
Weather
played.
has
We
not
have
been good
played the
all
Giants at
throughout the week.
AT&T in September, almost every year that I've been here. I think the only time 2014, I think we played them here in October.
We have the last 3 years.
The roof has been closed every single time, as far as I remember.
Yeah, I don't see a scenario where they would do that to their own team, let alone just kind of. Cool. I just don't think it's the weather's permitting at this time of the year.
That's the current forecast accounts for a 73 degrees at kickoff. So we'll see.
It's a lot lower than I thought.
Yeah, it is. But still, 73 degrees is not. That's not cool.
No,
especially not in a stadium like that where it gets in and then it's kind of traps the heat from all those bodies. I mean, that ain't cool. 73 degrees.
It's certainly not hot. Like
73 degrees is not cool for athletic weather. It's not. I mean, for athletic performance, it's not.
Okay,
I agree with Derek.
Okay, I mean, the only thing about it is if it's going to rain. And it might rain, that would be one thing. But if it's 73 degrees...
It ain't opening. They're not opening for 73 degrees.
Okay.
They're going to open
like
it.
It's never been open.
Clearly,
I'm
this
not
is
saying
very
that,
important.
But I think it is for your point. I mean, I think when I started seeing
for
in the
Amber,
second quarter...
You know what's more important than the temperature in the stadium is if the Cowboys are getting first downs. That's what's way more important.
That helps.
Yeah.
They played the defense played, all things considered, a pretty solid game in 85 degrees and humidity. And I'm sure it took a toll, but they still got the job done. I care a lot less about the temperature and a lot more about the Cowboys' offense not being terrible.
But if they were able to do that in 85-degree humid weather, what would they do in climate-controlled 71? I mean, I think that's
if they're losing
much better.
If they're losing time of possession, it's not going to be good no matter what.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that offense can really make them pay like that. I really don't.
The Giants?
Yeah. I mean, we just talked about their offensive line. We just talked about the quarterback. We looked at the history of what they've done offensively.
We talked about, you got to be on your P's and Q's to keep the guy. Well, if you're out there play series after series after series and not getting resting time, that's how 8-yard curl routes turn into 50-yard touchdowns.
I got you, but last week, again, 85 degrees last week. Okay. They gave up 16 points.
Right, cool.
Potato.
No, this is not
potato.
This is not potato.
All right, let's get to a phone call. We do have a phone call here from Stan in D.C. Stan, what up?
Hey, what's going on, crew?
Yep.
Hey, I think Nick's right, Dave. I'm sorry. I think I go to the Cowboys game every year, Cowboy-Giants game every year, and I can speak of at least 2 times I know the roof has actually been open.
All right. What years was that?
I definitely know it was the year Romo won at the end of the game with Jason Witten.
15?
I can't remember the other one, but it's been mentioned that we didn't have good luck with the roof open. But I've actually come away with 2 wins with the roof open.
Hey, there you go.
It was open in 15? I don't remember that.
I never
before he got hurt, right?
Yeah.
15?
Yeah, before he got hurt.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, Dez got hurt that season, that game.
Yeah, that game.
A lot of changes
but
there.
My key this week is I think we got to get Dak's confidence rolling early. I think we got to do some of that RPO stuff early, like get him moving where he can get his confidence, and also slow down the Giants when they're not going to come as hard. Because I noticed that's what we did with Cam last week. We came at Cam hard, and in the second half when we kind of rushed in our lanes, we controlled them in that second half. But I think we got to get Dak on the move with some RPO, roll him out, and get a lot of these crossing routes like Gallup had last week and Beasley. I think that's our bread and butter to get them going early.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know that the Cowboys, you guys can answer this. The Cowboys, have they really done a lot of RPO stuff with Dak? I haven't really seen a lot of that. I mean, they've done some, when he's been successful, they did a lot more movement and getting him out of the pocket. If that's what the caller's saying, and I agree with that. I think if you can find some ways to do that, it's probably a good thing.
First of all, at this point, RPO has just they were calling play action passes RPOs the other day. It's taken on a life of its own. It definitely has a place in the game, and I think most teams probably do it. I mean, I'm thinking right now, like one of Dak's best plays is a read option RPO with a slant to Beasley, and I think Beasley caught 3 touchdowns off that play last year. Coming to my mind most notably is the Chiefs game. I think it was their first score.
And I was talking more about last week. Like I didn't seem to see much of that last week.
No, I didn't either. But they do have it in their offense.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
I think that they need to call more runs where Dak is running the ball. Like, I mean, that is playing to his strength, and that's what we saw out of Cam. That's what makes him so effective. And get out of this mindset that this guy is a pocket passer. I mean, he's not. I mean, he can make plays out of there every now and again, but I mean, get him on the move, get him running.
That makes Zeke so much better if you do that.
Yeah.
When you have that zone read kind of look, it forces the defense to split. It forces the defense to, hey, I got to play my responsibilities, which means I can't help over there. I got to make sure I'm handling this responsibility over here, and the same thing on the other side. And so it does give you a few more opportunities that if Zeke can break a tackle, now he's off to the races, and that's what using Dak more gives you that kind of look.
The thing that concerns me, and we talked about it when we were reviewing the game, is just they gotta find a way to mix it up enough to where teams don't necessarily see it coming. Because I asked Jason Garrett about it too. Is those waggles that they like to run? They love those plays where they get Dak moving out of the pocket and he's just got an easy throw right in front of him. The Panthers were all over that stuff on Sunday. Like they had a guy in his face. The whole point of the play is that you have the option for the easy throw or you can run the ball, and that running option was taken away immediately. And I think the answer to that is probably to make defenses stay honest by giving the ball to Zeke a little bit, and by having, again, however you want to scheme it up. I think Dak needs to be more of a threat as a runner to open that stuff up.
Here's what I don't understand is, and again, it's only been one game, but in the past, we've seen how good Dak has been running the ball and just figuring out when is the good time to run, and also throwing a pass in the run. So how do you go from having that and then it kind of disappeared? I mean, I would be expecting it. You keep building up on that, and if anything, his confidence is just going to get better because he has already been doing that. So that's something that we'll see what happens in this upcoming game. But as far as that first game, I'm still trying to get my head around how that just basically just disappeared.
Let's go to the phone lines, get another call. This one's from Lynn in Oklahoma. Lynn, what up?
How are you guys today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I was just noticing on the game last week, every time, Snacks does what, I lost the guy's name, the defensive tackle, I would always get into Williams and push him straight back. Looney was always going mainly to the right, and he needs to kind of help out just at least the initial contact to help Williams out a little bit on that, because he's getting shoved right back into Dak. And also the second thing, I never saw him throw one wheel route to Zeke, and everything was just in the flat. He never let him get downfield at all. And that was just two observations that I had on the game. Talk about that a little bit.
All right, thanks for the call.
Kawan Short is who he's talking about, knocking Connor Williams back, and Joe Looney helping him a little bit more. Yeah, that's
which
what,
he said Snacks at the start of the call, like another tough challenge this week, although
no doubt.
A different style of tackle. And I am
scheme now, right? 3-4.
I'm interested to see. We can get into that tomorrow, but it's a new scheme, so he's playing a bit of a different role, but going to be doing a lot of the same stuff. I mean, I don't know how many more times I can complain about not throwing the ball to Zeke enough and in enough creative ways, but it's not something we've seen. You're absolutely right to the caller's point. And what's frustrating is you go back to training camp and you see Zeke doing some of that stuff. I remember, they did a team.
They were doing that all the time.
And exactly. They did a team period where they threw the ball to Zeke 3 times in a row in 3 different manners, and all of it was stuff downfield, not 30 yards downfield, but 6, 7, 8 yards over the middle of the field, running across the formation. And then you get to the game, and it's all stop in the flat and look for the ball, or a swing pass, or just be better. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how many more ways I can say it.
Yeah, and
it's simple. Be better.
Honestly, at the end of the day, he's got to be better. I think he's got to be better than he was last week, which I think he will be. He's just working himself into form, but they also got to find some more creative ways to get him involved in the offense. All right, so let's go ahead and call it a show. We'll be back tomorrow at 12:30.
I was not expecting that.
No, we'll be back at 11:45 tomorrow. We'll get into the Giants defense versus the Cowboys offense. There's a lot to talk about there. That defense is pretty good. Think you have something?
Yeah, I do. Right before, I guess, is Hanging with the Boys coming up next?
Yes, it's coming up next at 12:30.
I just want to say, check out that show today, because it'll be a different look than you've seen before, and
literally
a lot more going on than just football there. I tell you what's happening there with Shannon, Nate, Kurt, and just the unity there was. I didn't even want to get emotional about it, but it's pretty awesome what's happening there. Again, we talk about football and RPOs and wheel routes and all that stuff, and that's what we do, and that's it. Very, very important. But sometimes it goes bigger than that, and so check out their show. They got a good thing going on over there.
All right, we appreciate you guys joining us. We'll be back tomorrow. Till then, for Nick Eatman, Dave Hellman, Amber Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.